Hello everybody and welcome to another LEGO tutorial, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to make these nice beds with the Mosaic bed sheets. So let's get started. So to get started I'm going to get a 4x6 base plate. You can also use a 4x8 base plate depending on how big you want your bed to be, and of course there is a 2-space difference. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a 1x4 brick and place it towards the back, and this is where the bed head is actually going to be. So now what I'm going to do is on top of that I'm going to get this 1x4x2 railing piece, and I'm going to also get a 1x4 tile and just place the tile on top of the railing. Now if you don't have the railing piece you can always get 2 1x4 bricks, but to give the bed some extra detail I'm going to use this piece. And if I'm going too fast you can always pause the video or rewind, because I am kind of a fast talker sometimes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get a bunch of these 1x1 snot bricks. You can also use the 1x4 snot bricks. And actually I don't really have so many of those, so instead I'm just going to get a bunch of these Technic bricks, and I'm just going to place the tubing inside. So you should be all familiar with these pieces. These are actually pretty common pieces. Normally when you buy the Technic sets, and not even the Technic sets, but just regular sets, you might get these as extra pieces, or you can find them at the LEGO store in bulk. They can always purchase, so they are pretty common. So you can also use the 1x2 Technic bricks with the 2 pieces of tubing inside each hole. And I'm just going to get a bunch of these pieces, and I'm going to place them around the outside of the bed. So I'm just going to make sure that the tubing is facing on the outside, because if it isn't, this is not going to work. So don't place it like that, because it's not going to work. So there you go. We have the basic frame for our bed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place a bunch of tiles on the very top of the bed to smoothen it off. So I'm going to get a bunch of these 2x4 and these 1x4 plates. And you can use whatever color you'd like, because they're not going to be exposed anyway. You're not going to see them or anything like that, because they're going to be covered up with, plates that are going to surround the bed and the Mosaic bed sheets itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to place a bunch of these 2x tiles around the outside of the bed and connect them to the snot bricks, and just place them on the outside. And if you are using the Technic bricks, it's kind of a little weird because the tubing does kind of swivel, so it will be a little tricky to put it on, but it should eventually turn out somewhat sturdy. So there you go. Now the final part is the Mosaic, and this is where it gets really creative. So this is when things can get really creative. So I'm going to get a bunch of these 1x1 cheese float pieces in 4 colors. I'm going to get red, yellow, white, and blue. So I'm using these different colors, and you'll eventually find out later why I'm using different colors. Well, first reason obviously is because it adds detail, and the second reason is because I'm using different colors so you can see how I made everything. For example, if you look at this bed, you can see how everything is broken up into different patterns with all the different colors separated from each other. So that's what I mean by that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this sideways, because it won't work if you do it horizontally or if you do it like this, because they will just fall right out once you put it in like that. So I'm going to hold it about this much. Don't hold it all the way like that, because they will fall out. And don't hold it like that, because it won't work. So hold it about in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all my 4 different colors, and basically just going to use a variety of different patterns. So if you look on the cheese slope piece, there are 3 basic features. You have the vertical side that just faces up and down. You have the actual slope, and you have the very bottom that connects to the studs, and you can see the inside. So what I'm going to do, it's really simple. I'm just going to start placing them like so. And make sure as you do this, make sure that the very bottom of your cheese slope piece is either facing to the bottom of the bed or to the top of the bed. It won't work if, for example, if I do this, let's see if I can think of something like this. That's not going to work because if you look, the very bottom is facing this way. That won't work. So you got to always make sure that the bottom is facing the bottom. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get another color and I'm just going to place it like this. This is very difficult to explain, so if you're having a hard time understanding, you can always pause the video or rewind it just to get your mind caught up. So what I did now is I placed in the opposite direction. You can now see that I don't want to turn it all the way this way because they will fall out, but the very bottom is actually facing up now. So like I said, when you're building this, it's either facing up or down. It's not facing to the side like this. That's not going to work. As you can see there, the bottom is facing really weird. So I'm going to keep doing that pattern, and I'm going to fast forward the video so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. So here I laid all the different patterns for my Masonic bed sheet. We will notice we have all these different effects that I don't want to really get into deeply, but you can kind of see the basic idea with, you know, the dark spots, well, the dark lines in between each piece. So I don't want to explain everything because you can just always just pause the video and look. And if I turn it sideways, you can kind of see better. I don't want to turn any more because they will fall out. But just for the heck of it, I'm going to do it anyway. And there you go. That came out pretty easily. So don't forget, these cheese slope pieces really do come in handy. So if you have any left over that you probably don't use, well, now's the time to use them. So here we have our very nice bed with the Masonic bed sheets. Just a quick overview of how I made the bed sheets. You can kind of basically see the idea just looking at it in the screen already. All the colors are separate from each other, so you can kind of get a basic picture of how I made it, because I might have not clarified myself when I was doing the tutorial, so that's just a quick check, just to make sure that you guys got that down. And it does take a little bit of practice, but eventually you can just put it together really fast and easily. And if you don't have so many of those cheese slope pieces, you can always use a stripe pattern. And if you're wondering how I did that, I basically just got a bunch of these 1x4 tiles, like these. And I just basically just placed them on the inside. So I'll show you how I did that. So you get the basic idea of how I did that. And my favorite overall, though, out of all the Masonic bed sheets I've done, I've always enjoyed looking at this one. It's really nice and patterned and detailed. I used a variety of colors, patterns, and techniques. It's just really cool. I personally really like it. With all the colors and all the shades and everything, it just looks really cool. So, yeah, that was the tutorial. I hope this video was useful for you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.